Good Day Orlando's Wake Up and Win sweepstakes. You've got a chance to win $500. Watch Good Day Orlando starting Monday for your chance to win.
Right now on Fox 35 News, we're starting a little early tonight, and we've got a full slate of sports news and highlights coming up. You watched it right here on Fox 35. The offense for the Orlando City Lions finally comes alive in a blowout win versus Atlanta. We've got the highlights from Inter&Co Stadium. Plus, the Orlando Pride were not to be outdone. More on a wild match from them that came down to the final seconds. Also ahead, the Orlando Magic come through with a huge win at home against the Boston Celtics. Now they look to tie the series tomorrow night at home. And we've got all the latest from the final day of the NFL draft, including where Shedeur Sanders was finally drafted and what former UCF Knights quarterback went ahead of him. Plus, Laurel.
Hey, Randy, we are in for a scorcher to wrap up the weekend. Not only is that sunshine going to be strong, but that heat really sizzling on your Sunday. We'll talk more details about your forecast for the rest of the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Laurel. Well, it was a steamy day in Central Florida, so it was only right the Orlando City's offense finally heated up tonight. Thanks for joining us after the game. I'm Randy Hildreth. Now, it was a big match for the Lions taking on Atlanta at home tonight. And the Lions now turn their attention to their next game, which is next Saturday on the road against the Chicago Fire. The Lions beat the Fire last year, so you know they're looking for some revenge. The history between these two clubs is very even. They both won against each other with 9 draws. Kickoff next Saturday at 8:30. This is an updated look at the Major League Soccer standings. Orlando City is still in the 7th in the Eastern Conference, tied with Nashville. Cincinnati is 6 points ahead of them in first place. While the Orlando Pride were back on the pitch hosting Angel City FC last night, and it was a wild match at Inter&Co Stadium. Next up for the Pride, they're headed to Portland to take on the Thorns next weekend. And this is a look at the latest standings in the NWSL. The Pride are now tied for first place in the conference after Kansas City lost earlier tonight. They are 3 points ahead of the second place club, the Washington Spirit. Orlando's youth soccer program is getting even bigger. 11 new soccer schools are coming to Central Florida to help teach kids the game. And this time, the focus is on the Orlando Pride. The soccer schools are set to open in several locations across Central Florida, including Seminole Lake, Nona, Winter Park, and Claremont. Registrations for tryouts are now open. Well, the CDC is also warning parents and coaches about soccer-related concussions, especially for girls. It says girls soccer has the second highest concussion rate in all of youth sports. Experts say girls are more likely than boys to report concussions from playing sports, and they may be more vulnerable to them. Researchers are looking at possible reasons, including differences in hormones and the anatomy of the neck. Coaches and leagues are taking steps to limit head injuries, but the concussion rates are still increasing.
There's data in the NFL and in the NHL that shows us that the longer somebody continues to take contact after a concussion, the longer it takes them to recover. So that's why we try to tell kids all the time, the sooner you tell us about an injury, the sooner we can treat you, the sooner we can get you back on the field, the court, and that's really the message that we want kids to understand.
The most common is when players go up for headers at the same time and end up hitting each other. Well, you are now taking a live look at downtown Orlando. The heat is on in Central Florida. We're tracking the chance for some 90s for Sunday. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Laura Blanchard joins us now. It was hot today. We're monitoring this weather because, we also had this burn ban.
Randy, you're absolutely right. It was a toasty one today. A couple of areas actually saw the 90s today. Gainesville hit 90. Ocala and DeLand. Most of the region was very, very close. Here in Orlando, we hit 89 degrees. It was a warm one today, and we're going to continue to turn up the heat for the rest of the weekend. So far in April, we've had 5 90-degree days here in Orlando. Average is 4, and I have a feeling we're going to be adding one more a day as we take a look at the end of the weekend. Because check out those temperatures. It is going to be toasty tomorrow for sure, making a run at 93 here in Orlando, lingering throughout the 80s as we take a look along the coastline, but possibly making a run at 95 in Ocala in the Villages. So make sure you are staying hydrated and also making sure you are wearing that sunscreen, because tomorrow, not only is it going to be hot, that sunshine is going to be strong. And we're looking at a UV index of 10 tomorrow, which means if you're even outside for about 15 minutes, you could burn. Taking a look, we are going to be continuing to see those dry conditions all across Central Florida. Nearly all of Central Florida is experiencing some sort of drought conditions. And as we take a look at the worst areas, especially across southeastern Marion County, western Volusia and eastern Volusia counties, you can see in these little red splotches right here. This is where we're seeing the worst of the worst. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it does get better. But we are going to see a little bit of relief in the forecast. Taking a look at tomorrow afternoon and Monday afternoon and evening, we are going to start to see a little bit more of those sea breeze storms start to play back in. Tomorrow, especially as we head through the afternoon, this is about 3:30 p.m. Seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms down the I-75 corridor and all along the Florida Turnpike. But with these, we could see a couple of stray thunderstorms as well. And with that, if we do see any lightning hit the ground, because that lightning is so hot and the ground is so dry, we may see the possibility of more fires being sparked, although we are starting to see a little bit more rain back in the forecast. We'll talk more details about what's in store for the rest of your weekend and talk about those drought conditions coming up in a little bit.
Thanks, Laurel. Well, fans are. And the energy was electric in downtown Orlando as fans celebrated the victory after the game. Fox 35's Stephanie Montage spoke with some of those excited supporters. Well, Fox 35 News is just getting started. Still ahead, the NFL draft wrapped up today. Where did Shedeur Sanders finally get picked? And what about former UCF quarterback who was also on the board? We have the highlights and all the updates coming up for you. Plus, 4 days of nonstop pickleball action continues this weekend in Central Florida, while some of the best players in the country are competing right here. And dreams money can buy, the big bankroll that could help bring Orlando into the major leagues. We'll be right back.
News breaks whenever it wants.
It just happens, and when it does, we're here for you.
Streaming live during and between newscasts, taking you to the heart of the story as it happens.
Information you need now. Stories that keep you safe, aware, and connected.
You can depend on us.
Welcome back on the ice today. The Tampa Bay Lightning were looking to avoid going down 3-0 in the first round of the playoffs. They faced the Florida Panthers on the road. The Lightning actually fell down early in this one, but stormed back with 5 unanswered goals. Tampa Bay wins 5-1. Game 4 is Monday in South Florida. The long wait is over for quarterback Shedeur Sanders. The son of NFL legend Deion Sanders was drafted in the 5th round today by the Cleveland Browns. Now, from football to pickleball, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the country for both and the Major League Pickleball season is kicking off in Central Florida. Teams from across the country are playing in Lake Nona. Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie is there with a look at the action. Next on Fox 35 News, we've talked a lot about the possibility of professional baseball coming to Central Florida, and another hurdle has been cleared to make it happen. How much money the Orlando Dreamers have acquired to bring a baseball team to Orlando. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Orlando Dreamers closer to becoming a reality. The group leading the charge says they have almost $1.5 billion to acquire a team. Fox 35's Garrett Weimer explains why this could be a home run for Orlando. Well, coming up on Fox 35 News at 10, a final farewell. Thousands of people gathering in Rome to say goodbye to the late Pope Francis. Plus, brush fires spark once again in Central Florida. We continue to deal with extremely dry conditions, and the first chance of rain is still a